Mr. Arataki numero uno Itto. Yes, we know about him, we've loved him since his inception, and outside of the fact that he takes all the snacks away from kids, he's a pretty awesome dude, right? He gets to hang out with his team of wonderful people, including the Miss Kooky Shinobu, who is... But I digress. We're not here to be coomers, okay? We're here to talk about Arataki numero uno Itto. And the reason why we're talking about Itto is because of the fact that we also have Chiori coming out in version 4.5, which means that Geo is kind of getting a little bit of a facelift, but not entirely. There are some things I want to talk about in regards to Chiori when it comes to Arataki Itto, but today we are going to be talking about how you should build your Itto from level 1 to level 90, and of course, a casual build to help you build him. Now, of course, if you like the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified when the next Genshin Impact build guide comes out. And of course, leave a comment about what you think about Arataki Itto and what you like about this series. Anyways, y'all, before we get into that, make sure to get that ever wonderful gamer subs. Oh, so wonderful, soothing to your taste buds. Of course, 10% off using code TYSTRA at gamersubs.gg. As of the release of this video, here in a couple hours, we will probably be releasing the new creator cups, which includes queso, which I got compared to a couple videos back, which is not a bad comparison. I'll take that, okay? I'll take it. And of course, we've got a Bricky Cup and the Boys Cup. So if you guys want to check it out, gamersubs.gg, link down in the description, use code TYSTRA for 10% off. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into it because we got Arataki Itto, right? The Claymore Geo user from Inazuma who loves to be a gang member. That's his whole shtick. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this first things first. We know the stuff that we're gonna need right here. The Prithvia, Topaz Silvers, the Fragments, the Chunks, and of course the Gemstones. We know that rules of three always take precedence in these Genshin Impact builds. So 3 of the silvers make a fragment, 3 of the fragments make a chunk, and 3 of the chunks make a gemstone. You're gonna need 1 of the silvers, 9 of the fragments, 9 of the chunks, and of course 9 gemstones. Followed by, of course, we're going to need this Rift Bone Regalia, which comes from the Rift Hound, big boy, you know, big wolfy boy Geo over in Inazuma, which is I wouldn't say a tough boss, but I would say he's annoying to deal with. You have the 3 Geo constructs that come out to make the wolfy boy go down, and then you can actually do damage. I honestly think that the Rift Hound is probably, or Wolf Lord in this case, not the Rift Hound, the Wolf Lord, is actually one of the longer boss fights in the game. But that's just my personal opinion. That's just it. But you're gonna need 46 of these, which means that you're gonna need to do a minimum of 23 runs at 40 resin each. It's not gonna be a fun grind to do, but you can do it. You can get it done at least in a week, all right? But that's 23 minimum, okay? Now, of course, you're also going to need Oni Kabuto, which are Inazuma specialty items. You're going to need 168 of these, and these have been out for a long time, so you probably have a couple friends on your friends list that probably don't need them, so go and get them. They are annoying. You can find them on walls, you can find them on trees, a lot of things. So be ready for that grind because it is a little bit of a doozy. As we scroll down here, we're gonna get into the actual slime condensates, the slime, what is it right here? Secretions and the slime concentrates. So these come from slimes. Go figure, slimes in the name, right? You're gonna need 18 of these slime condensates, 30 of the slime secretions, and of course 36 of the slime concentrates. And again, rules of 3, 3 of the condensates make a secretion, 3 of the secretions make a concentrate. Pretty simple stuff. Slimes are everywhere. Slimes are everywhere. You could honestly, you know, destroy a bunch of them and get what you need, right? Now, let's go ahead and talk about talents because again, when it comes to DPSs, 9 times out of 10, you're looking at triple crowning them. Now, Itto is a good triple crown in my personal opinion. He is a really, really good DPS, despite the fact that Geo is one of the worst elements in the game. So with this, let's go ahead and talk about what you're going to need to triple crown your Arataki Itto. You're going to need 18 of the slime condensates. I know it says 6, but you have to times it by 3 because it's only going off of 1 to level 10. So you're going to need 18 more of the slime condensates. You're going to need 66 more of the slime secretions, followed by 93 more of the slime concentrates, right? So that's a lot of slimes to kill. But again, if you've been playing the game for a long time, you could kill slimes a lot. Now, of course, we're also going to need these, the Teachings of Elegance, which, by the way, Itto is not elegant in the slightest. So to me, that's weird that he's got elegance, but I digress. We're not here to talk about that. Teachings of Elegance, which is the talent book in Inazuma that's open from Tuesday, Friday, and Sundays. So Sundays, you get everything, or you could go for any book. So if you're looking to get Arataki Itto, you can get it 3 times a week with the Teachings of Elegance. So you're gonna need 9 of these Teachings of Elegance. You're gonna need 63 of the Guides to Elegance, and you're gonna need 114 of the Philosophies of Elegance. Now again, rules of 3 books, make a guide, 3 guides, make a philosophy. Is it book? No, teachings. 3 teachings make a guide. 3 guides make a philosophy here. And of course, you're also going to need these, the Ashen Hearts, which I have not talked about in a long time, guys. I have not talked about this because it's Signora. And to be honest, she's forgettable now. Listen, I'm just saying, Arlecchino is right there and is way hotter. Signora is dookie to me, but I digress. The Signora fight is still one of my favorite fights to do. I actually really do like that fight. So the Ashen Hearts you're gonna need 18 of those in total. You can only fight Signora once a week to get the rewards, which kind of sucks in my opinion. So it's gonna be a long grind. You got this if you haven't done it already. And of course, 3 Crowns of Insight, big stuff. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and transfer over to the game really quick because first things first, this is a showcase for Itto, and if you're waiting for the Chiori stuff, don't worry, we're gonna talk about Chiori here in a sec. But first things first, I want to talk about Itto and what team that he works really well with after we talk about some of the stuff that he's good with. Now, for my Itto, as you can see here, we're doing a 52-62 split. Crit rate, crit damage is going to be his main factors, followed by defense percentage, right? Defense percentage is actually going to be very huge on him. He scales off of defense, so that's why you see my defense so high. Followed by energy recharge, because you want to make sure that you're getting your ultimate off constantly. Now, as you can see here, right? I'm also running Red Horn Stone Thresher. I went for this weapon because I really wanted it, and I actually like running Itto as a DPS because he's a lot of fun. Now, you could also run a very familiar weapon known as Serpent Spine. I think that's a wonderful choice as well. If I were to switch to Serpent Spine, right? Serpent Spine would bring me up to an 81-274 though. So that is why I'm running Stone Thresher, because I have it and it gives me that sweet, succulent 88.2% crit damage right there. But of course you could also use stuff, where is it? White Blind right here. It scales defense. Now granted, this isn't leveled up, but it actually works really well with him because he's a normal and charge attacker when he goes into his ultimate. So this is really good for him, being able to increase that attack and defense by 12%, and then also stacking up to 4 times is pretty freaking bonkers. Okay, you could also use this one, the Skyward Pride, because of the energy recharge, and of course it increases your damage. But I still recommend, if you're going to go for a 5-star, the Red Horn Stone Thresher is a good choice. However, this is going to be the weapon that works mainly on Itto. So if you are an Itto main, then yes, go for it. If you're not, then I don't think you truly need to go for this great sword. So, but yeah, that's really all I could say about weapons. I would definitely say get the Serpent Spine if you can. It's definitely really worth it because Serpent Spine is really good if you're going for a 4-star option. If not, White Blind, pretty easy as well. Now let's go ahead and talk about artifacts. Now for artifacts, I would definitely say the best set is the 4-piece husk. Raising your defense by 30% when you scale off a defense is fantastic. So good. And then 4-piece, a character equipped with this artifact set will obtain the curiosity effect in the following conditions. When on the field, the character gains 1 stack from hitting an opponent with a Geo attack, triggering a maximum of once every 0.3 seconds. When off the field, the character gains 1 stack every 3 seconds. Curiosity can be stacked up to 4 times, and each providing a 6% defense buff and a 6% Geo damage buff. When 6 seconds passes without gaining a Curiosity stack, 1 stack is lost. So this is a really good set to have on Itto, and you can also use it for Chiori when she comes out. Husk is actually, I think, her best set from what I'm seeing on her kit, but there are a couple things I want to get into in her build guide, right? Now, you could run a 2-piece Husk, 2-piece Archaic. If you use 2-piece Archaic, you're gaining that, I think it was Geo damage bonus. If I remember Archaic, I don't run Archaic on a lot of people. So my apologies if I'm out of my element here. Where is Archaic? No, that's Husk. Where is Archaic? Am I crazy? Am I just crazy? Do I even have an Archaic set? Do I even run? I do run Archaic somewhere. Oh yeah, I forgot I do run it on her. It's a 50% Geo bonus. So it is the Geo set. So if you run a 2-piece Husk, 2-piece Archaic, you're going for that 30% boost in defense plus a 15% boost in Geo damage, which is not a bad set to do. Those are the two like kind of builds that I would go with. Honestly, Husk is your best bet. I'm just throwing it out there. For your main stats, like we were talking about with your crits and defense and all that, your sand should be a defense percentage because again, he scales off of defense, followed by your cup being Geo damage bonus. You could go defense on this one as well. As you can see, mine kind of dual split between defense and attack, so he didn't really do too well in that regard, but Redstone Thresher actually kind of helped out with that. And then followed by your circlet, you could go crit damage, crit rate, or even defense, but I highly recommend going more crit than anything else. This sucks. My Itto didn't get some really good artifacts, but he still kind of hits it out of the park in my opinion, so I'm not too mad about that. So those are my artifacts, and those would be the stats that I tell you to look forward to. Now I also have a Constellation 2 Itto, which is pretty freaking insane, but even at Constellation 0 he's pretty dang good. Now as you can see, I have crowned 2 out of the 3 things. You don't entirely need to crown the skill, but the skill does work really well. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So this is the Ushi Masatsu Setsugi, right? Hurls Ushi, the young Akushi bull, or Akushi, an auxiliary member of the Arataki gang, dealing Geo damage to the opponent on hit. When Ushi hits opponents, Arataki Itto gains 1 stack of superlative super strength. Ushi will remain on the field and provide support in the following ways. He taunts opponents and draws their attacks, and then inherits HP based on the percentage of Arataki Itto's max HP. And when Ushi takes damage, Arataki Itto gains 1 stack of superlative super strength. Only 1 stack can be gained in this way every 2 seconds. Ushi will flee when its HP reaches 0 and its duration ends, and it will grant Arataki Itto 1 stack of superlative super strength. You could also, the cool thing about it is that you could hold it and throw them at people, and he just like fists, I almost said fist Ushi, sorry Ushi, but he like punches Ushi into the opponent. It's pretty crazy. Now let's go ahead and talk about his burst here. Burst is Royal Descent, behold Itto the evil. He's not evil, by the way. Excuse me, by the way. Jesus. Basically what happens, converts Itto's normal and charge and plunging attacks to Geo damage. This can't be overridden, so Bennett is a really good option to have with him. Increases Itto's normal attack speed and also increases his attack based off of his defense, which is a plus. On hit of the first and third strikes of his attack combo will grant Arataki Itto 1 stack of superlative super strength and decreases Itto's elemental and physical resistance by 20%. The Raging Onikin state will be cleared when Itto leaves the field. Now, why is superlative super strength so freaking important, right? Well, superlative super strength is what you're going to be using to deal as much damage as you can in your burst, which is highly important. And then of course you have your passives here. Your first passive, Arataki Ichiban. When Arataki Itto uses consecutive Arataki Kesurugis, he obtains the following effects. Each slash increases the attack speed of the next slash by 10%. And max attack speed can be increased up to 30%, and then increases the resistance to interruption. Followed by his second passive, his damage is increased by 35% of his own defense. So, but superlative super strength is very important because you are gaining 1 stack every 1 1/3 strike, and I think it's a max of 8 stacks if I remember correctly. Oh no, it's 5. Sorry. Performs up to 4 consecutive attacks, and on the 2nd and 4th strikes hits opponents. Itto will gain 1 and 2 stacks of superlative super strength respectively. Max 5 stacks. Oh, so it's a max of 5 stacks. Yeah, okay. So basically every time he's hitting, he's gaining a stack when you go into that burst, or just about. So he's very important in regards to this. Now, of course, I'm running also a full Geo team to showcase the Geo damage. Now, of course, with Goro, you're going to want to burst right out of there, get Albedo out there, But of course, you also want to have your Zhongli to help out with that resistance as well. You could also switch Zhongli, and in fact, I'm actually going to switch my Zhongli for Bennett because I want to increase that little bit of damage, and I don't think he's going to need the shield, to be perfectly honest with you. So we're going to switch to Bennett right here. So we're going to go, and we're going to go into Goro, right? And then we're going to switch to Albedo, get that stuff going, and start working on the superlative super strength with our boy Arataki Itto, right? So let's go ahead and show him off. Actually, I want to build up Bennett here. Or wrong thing. There we go. There we go. We got that going. So, boom. Wrong switch right there. No, we're out of the thing, but look at this. Watch this damage. If you hold the charge attack, he just keeps going. Look at all that damage right out the gate. Now, of course, I kind of, in essence, blew my load a little bit on this. But as you can see, like, he almost just downed him right there. And that's why Itto is actually a lot of fun, in my opinion, because the amount of damage he's able to do right out the get-go is just absolutely bonkers. And we'll end it with Ushi right there. But as you saw, like, Itto can kind of like wreck. Now, of course, I'm running Redstone Thresher. So if you're running something that's not Redstone Thresher, you're going to have a little bit of a harder time. But I do think that Redstone Thresher is a good investment if you want to become an Itto main. So Itto is definitely one of those ones that I think is really, really good, right? Itto is pretty freaking amazing. Am I right or am I right? I'm pretty right. But again, Geo is a very terrible element. But there's one thing I did want to kind of talk about here, right? If we can get it going here. Let me bring it back up here. There we go. So, Chiori, right? And this is why I really wanted to talk about Itto, because Chiori is going to be that character that really helps out Itto later. And it's really about, where is it? I want to make sure I don't mess this up. So, Chiori with her, I think it's, no, it's her burst right here. Where is it? Where's the burst? I'm losing my mind. Okay, right here. It's so small. Honey Hunter World is great, but sometimes it messes me up. So, first things first, the Hoyoko Twin Blades. This ability of Chiori's works like Kazuha's, you know, burst as well. So it's gonna fling this, doing AoE geo damage based off of her attack and defense, which is great, right? So we go to the passive skills, right? You're also going to be getting, right? It's tough to tell, but tailor-made, right? This is the thing I wanted to talk about. So you're getting the damage from the burst, right? Before you go and switch yourself, right? Chiori, you're gonna want to run in the front, and then alongside Itto in the back if you're running Itto as a DPS. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you're using the tailor-made passive, right? Basically what ends up happening is that you could either use an elemental skill, which gives you the tapestry effect, or you could press your normal attack and use the tailoring effect. Why are these important? Because tapestry will switch to your next character in the roster, which would be if you're going from first slot Chiori, going to second slot Itto, boom, you switch to Itto. Grants all party members seize the moment, and when the active party members' normal attacks, charge attacks, plunge attacks hit an opponent, Sode will execute a coordinated attack, dealing 100% of the flattering Hasoda's upward sweep damage as AoE geo damage at the opponent's location. Damage dealt in this way is considered elemental skill damage. Seize the moment lasts 8 seconds, and one Sode coordinated attack can be unleashed for every 2 seconds. This is important because, again, as an off-field DPS or a sub DPS, that is what Chiori is going to be. This is a great way to switch into Itto without having to switch to Itto. Like for me, I use this little controller right here, and it drives me up a wall sometimes because sometimes my buttons mess up, and I'm like, bro, just switch to the characters I need you to switch to. It's not that difficult. But with Chiori coming out, Chiori is going to be a benefit to an Itto DPS. So I'm very, very excited for that. Overall, Itto has a lot of potential, especially with Chiori. I wish that there was a better way to boost up Geo, but there's really not that way of boosting it up. Geo, even after Chiori's release, is still going to be one of the worst elements in the game. And it sucks, but full Geo or even Geo with Bennett is still a lot of fun to use. So that's just my opinion. But anyways, y'all, that's going to be it for today's video. If you like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Genshin Impact video comes out. And leave a comment about what you think about Itto and Shiori and the benefits that Shiori might possess. Maybe there's something I missed with Shiori. I don't know, but let me know in the comments. Anyways, y'all, that's going to be it. Love you all to death. And as always, we will catch you in the next video. Please take care and be safe.